Girl, I need to catch you up on what went down in today's coach grouping session. Okay, girl, get comfy, get a snack, get a little drinky drink, because the tea. Okay, you ready? All right. Now, remember I was telling you about this creator community I had joined? So about a month ago, I had joined this online community of other content creator and business owners because I've been feeling kind of lost. And girl, I got real burnt out the way I was running my other business with the math resources, and it just was not matching up with actual reality, and that season in and out of ERs and doctor's appointments. So it was ugh, if I didn't show up, nothing was happening in business, and it's not set up properly. So I took that break. I was creatively drained, and one thing I learned during that time is I really miss being in community, because while there were definitely harder times or rougher times in my business, I remember toward the beginning it was rough as hell, but I was also part of some communities, and so when I look back on them, it was not that bad. So I realized now I need to be in community with other people to bounce off ideas, walk along the journey, connect with people. I really like to do that. And that way I also can be more energized when I go into my own solo time, when I got to dig in, focus, because you know me, I'll be a hermit. So I joined this creator group, and girl, I already had my money's worth. Day one when I had joined, it is paid for itself 10 times over and then some. And I'm really falling in love with the energy of it, the people that are in there, the community of it. Girl, it has been so refreshing to be with kindred spirits. And it seems like every call we found out a new quirk. We get a lot of anime lovers, it's very neurodivergent, neuro spicy brain, friendly. It feels every week something new is popping up. It is so great. We are literally all the same spirit. We just got different earthly shell, and it's amazing and so diverse too. Anyway, so today in the coaching call, I had some questions. Now, I just joined a new platform, Threads, and how I was feeling about META, okay? And how I really was trying to back out of it, moving towards getting rid of my profiles, on those platforms. I don't like how it's run. I don't like how META runs their things that are harmful, just chasing money and following off of the orange one. Following after the orange one up there, the little wrinkly orange one. So I'm look, I was I need to back away. But I've been hearing so many positive things about it. And tactically, I do see the potential of how it really could be very, very helpful in that, just as a strategist. So I've seen the things, but I'm oh, morals, I gotta protest, I gotta protest, but I'm let me give it a chance. Let me do it. Let me try out, because now I'm feeling pulled towards it. While before, because girl, I had to take an Instagram break because I just couldn't. And I'm slowly easing my way back to Instagram. It's I deal with you and I deal with you. But so I joined Threads, and I really like it. And it's just been 3 or 4 days. So still learning, understanding the culture. And you know how you the new person in place, and you really just wish someone to talk to, and you want to kind of see what's going on, a little shyness. That's how I was feeling, or I had been feeling, joining this new platform. So it's okay, my mentor in the group, he's mentioned this platform, there's success, and so I'm just wondering if there's any strategies, tips, or anything to to help me, because one of my things, and now that I'm thinking about it right now, one of my things is, if you already took 100 steps to do this one particular process, but that process is helping you 10 times, why would I still need to do those same 100 steps to get to that process? Let me go ahead and get that process. And then now I have more energy to figure out and discover. Now I might have to do 100 reps of this new thing, but then that new thing opens up to process B, which is helpful, what I'm saying, on the ladder of helping each other with information. So, as I've been on Threads and observing it and seeing a lot of paid products for content advice or content strategy for Threads, and personally, I got frustrated. No tea, no shade to the people that are doing get your bag. I'm just not your target audience. And I was trying to like kind of get a baseline. Okay, where's the free information to get a general understanding? And that way it can help me pinpoint, okay, is this like specific? Is this helpful or not? So it's like I'm trying to learn, what's coming down. And I've even come on YouTube trying to search some stuff, and it's like very, very like thin. And I'm just not in the place like I want to fork over like 50, 60 bucks, and like there's no preview. Like, how do I know this is actually going to like do something? I'm just not at that place to do that type of investment. Now, I have done investments. I'm not against like getting things if I really do think it's going to be helpful, but the people that I was like seeing and stuff was like it didn't sit right in my spirit. I always felt like it would be a scam, so I'm like, I'm not going to do that. Where's the free stuff at, right? And so seeing that, it's like, okay, I'm frustrated without no free stuff. I'm not trying to like pay for this. Let me come to the group and let me see. Like I said, it's like very beginning stages, and I'm just trying to get a baseline right. Now, I tend to ask more like technical questions, like, what do you think works on this platform? What's the culture? Like format, caption length, you know what I'm saying? Because each one, like social platform, is different and has its own like flavor, and what might work on one, like say TikTok, may not work on LinkedIn, may not work on YouTube, right? They all got their little nuances, right? And so I was asking about this, and no, I didn't get a tactical answer back. I didn't. It was definitely just kind of reiterating that good content is good content no matter like where you put it, and putting in the work. And thinking about that, I'm like, okay, like, yes, I asked a tactical question, but didn't get like a tactical answer. So really like what was going on. And I realized that I took the scenic route of trying to ask for permission to like post or to try things. And that stopped me for a second. Like when I realized that, I'm like, oh, I'm really just trying to ask for permission. I'm too nervous. I'm too scared to like go out, try and fail, because I'm like, I don't understand this or whatnot. I'm fighting like, if the work's already been done, why do I want to repeat it? I want to find something like new, like all these different excuses and limiting beliefs. And it's like, yeah, I was trying to ask for permission to do it, and it's like, I don't need permission. And I was starting to doubt myself for a second, right? Like I wasn't trusting my intuition, because within the first day, the first few hours of like scrolling through it, I was definitely noticing some patterns and noticing things like, oh, I like this, like let me save this, like, oh, I really don't like this, why this is here. So I did see a lot of things on like the homepage or the scroll feed, whatever they call it, from digital products, news, what's trending, how people respond, like the emoji, hieroglyphic, like language, things like that. And just off of my observations, I'm like, the things I'm looking for is a paid product. I have not seen any free stuff. And the free stuff that I had is just literally all the same regurgitated shit over and over again. You do this, they just format it in different ways. But after you see it after like 10 times, I'm like, this is literally all the same shit in like a different thing. And that was like really, really frustrating, because it was the tactics and stuff they were listing is like good in theory, but is they doing it? Like just something about them seemed like really, really off. And once again, it's like, okay, how can I like trust this or like back this over like other things, right? So yeah. So the information I was looking for, like thread strategies, is like there's all paid. Then some other ADHD kind of entrepreneurship, autism things, chronically ill, like business owners, astrology, personal branding. A girl, don't get me started on that personal branding tag. Girl, it's so frustratingly empty with like any information to help. I'm like, okay, I know this is an area that I'm passionate about, and I have thoughts that I can like share that is like helpful. And it's like, okay, I know I can like be helpful here. Let me angrily fill this with some tutorials and tips and things. And I'm like, I'm literally seeing the same message, like send me some stars. Still have no idea what the send me the stars message is about, girl. Anyway, so it's like, okay, there's some tags I'm interested in that's ghostly empty of information, so I can fill in my takes. I can fill in some things, some helpful, places, because I'm not for gatekeeping stuff. If it works, it works. And if you want something customized for you, then that's when you have to make that investment, because we need to dive deep. I need to ask questions. We need to get up in there so I can best understand and provide those results. You know this. I have a process. I'm not new to this. I'm true to this. So once I realized, it's like, damn, I was trying to chicken out. I was trying to ask for permission to do this thing. I felt so much better in going back and like those observations I had. It's a lot of paid things, not a lot of free things. The free shit advice is shitty as fuck. Different formattings, how the media, like, photos, how do they look versus like videos, different caption lengths. Is like, no, I gathered a good little space and let me really embrace bars this time where I am much smaller and really experiment and really do like some documenting, some good detective stuff, right? Like really like let me do that, because I know once it's like bigger, it's like, okay, well, yes, I'll get more like feedback faster, from like a really strong engaged community, but it's like, yo, let me run. Like, wow, let me experiment. Like, let me do some kooky stuff. And I think the thing I really appreciate about Threads right now versus Blue Sky, because, girl, I also did the Blue Sky because I'm like, look, I'm not going over Twitter. We're going to call it by its proper government name, Twitter. I was not going over there. I'm like, no, but I wanted something like that, like faster pace kind of feel, but without all the nonsense. So it's like, okay, Blue Sky. And I've been on Blue Sky officially, I think it's like been like a year, and I was starting to get into the rhythm of it, but I still just couldn't understand it, couldn't capture it. It was really difficult for me to either find people or do feeds, understand it. Like there was a little bit of a learning curve for me. And girl, I'm savvy with these things, so I was feeling a little feeling a little dumb, and like I was feeling a little dumb. And so I'm like trying, and I'm like, do I need to put more reps in to like see how do I like track this? So it just wasn't fun anymore to keep doing it. And like so it's like, okay, Threads is like similar, so I'm like, let me try it. And it's like, okay, it's a really good experience. I can post multiple times. It's starting to know like what I do like, what I don't like. Understanding it like more. It's like easier to like do it, setting up. It's still glitchy in like some areas like here and there. But I'm like, it's still newish, right? So I'm really liking it, and it's really, really fun. And it's like, okay, this is adding some joy, some whimsy back into my business, which is, girl, that's the focal point. That's the focus. It's joy or nothing. We got to whoop whoop power up with our joy. So it's been fun, and I'm having fun just experimenting, trying different things. I think it'll be about a week. I forget what day. I gotta check the calendar when I officially like started, but I'm seeing data, I'm seeing analytics, and I'm able to make adjustments and get like feedback, like make adjustments to it, and still have that joy and whimsy that I can still like experiment and not be like, oh my gosh, you posting too much. Like, it's absolutely perfect. If I'm like, I got all the energy, we about to do this. Post. But if it's like we ain't got the energy and like all I can do is like a couple taps, it's working like really, really well. So I'm very, very excited to incorporate this to help support YouTube, because YouTube is that girl. She's my number one. She's my main chick. I gotta keep wifey good. Luxurious, all of that. I gotta keep her good. So I'm excited to see how I can really incorporate that, how Threads can support YouTube, and building out this wonderful social media stack. So I'm very, very excited, and thank you for listening, girl.